All right, welcome to Scent in the City Monday Morning Motivation for September 17th. For those of you who don't know me or have not been on the call before, my name is Aspen Calhoun, and a little bit about me. I've been with Scentsy, will be 4 years in December. When it comes to Scentsy for me, or Scentsy family for me, all the brands now, this is my favorite part. When it comes to motivation, inspiration, this is what I love, and it's my favorite part of what I do. So hopefully you guys enjoy. If you have questions, I'll answer them at the end. Otherwise, I hope that you're able to connect with something that I say today so that it can resonate through your week. So first of all, a little bit about motivation, inspiration, the things we do, why we do them, all that stuff. We have to find a reason every single day to continue doing what we do. Because we are not, quote unquote, an employee, there's not someone that's going to fire us if we don't go to work today. There's not somebody that's going to call us and say, are you sick? We don't have to call in sick. If we don't want to work at all, we don't have to. So if we don't find a reason to do what we do, we won't do it and we won't be successful at it. So what's your motivation? If you don't already have a why, if you don't already have a reason for being successful at your business, figure it out. And it's not always what it started off as, and it does change over time. So you have to go back and take a look at it and adjust it accordingly. So say in the beginning you wanted to make a little bit of extra money and be able to shop once a month. Maybe 6 months down the road, you've done that, so you need to revisit your why and say, okay, I'm doing this now. What's my next reason? What's the next biggest thing? And it may not be money. It may be independence. It may be having some time away from your kids. It may be getting out of your other job. But whatever it is, find your reason, because if you don't have a reason for doing what you do, if there's not an end to your means, there's no reason to get up every day and keep moving. So you need to find a daily dose of oomph, something that works for you that gets you rolling each and every day. Once a week is not enough for motivation. I mean, I love those of you who get on every single week, and I'm so glad you do because you give me a reason to do what I do. But at the same time, find something small every day that moves you forward. If you want to Google inspirational quotes, if you want to read a little bit of a book, if you want to listen to a podcast, any of those things work. Even if you only have 5 minutes to do it, it works. So make those things work for you. If you get hungry, you'll get weak in your purpose. So what do I mean by that? If you starve yourself of motivation, of reason, of inspiration, of those things that move you forward, you won't push nearly as hard towards your why, towards your motivation, towards your goal. So feed yourself with inspiration. Surround yourself with those people who inspire you. Surround yourself with people who encourage you and believe in you. So reminders and heart are key. When it comes to motivation, we have to continue to remind ourselves. Like I said, we have to listen to something every single day, even if you have a few minutes. Use Post-its. If you find a quote you love, if somebody said something to you that maybe moved you forward or inspired you or made you feel valid, write it down and post it somewhere, bathroom mirror, your computer. It doesn't matter, in your closet, over your bed, anywhere to where you see it every once in a while, and you can use that as inspiration. Use little pop-ups. Write something on the screen of your computer, on your phone, on the home screen of your phone. Put these things where you see them and they continue to inspire you. Use alarms on your cell phone. Whenever an alarm goes off, I'm going to remind myself why I'm doing what I do and that I need to remotivate. Use your friends. Tell your friends to remind you. Tell your family to remind you. And have dedication to your reason. If when you think about what your why is, if you sit here and say, okay, this is the reason I'm doing what I do, and you don't feel your heart rate raise just a little bit, if you don't feel the power behind your why, you need to change it. You have to have a dedication and a love so strong for that reason that just thinking about it moves you forward because you want it that bad. So what are we going to talk about today? Excuse me. being bound by an idea. And this is something that all of us fall victim to at one time or another, and mostly through our entire lives. So let me ask you, what if you could do one thing today and knew you would not fail? Think about that for just a minute. If there was no doubt in your mind that the next person you asked to join your team would say yes, would you ask them? If there was no doubt in your mind that you could call 3 people today and they would book a party, would you call? Would you maybe type up a letter and start a fundraiser? If you knew they would say yes, if there was no doubt or no question in the back of your mind, would you call that other person and network a little bit, get some ideas from them? Would you be more powerful in what you do if you knew they weren't going to roll their eyes at you? What if there were no such thing as a comfort zone? What if we could never say, oh, that's out of my comfort zone, I'm not going to do that? Oh, I would never call someone that's out of my comfort zone. What if we took away all of those limits from ourselves? Imagine the possibility of who we could become without a fear of failure that binds us. Now let me remind you, failure is an idea. It's not who we become. It's not who we are. It's not a physical pain. It's an idea in our head of something bad that will happen to us if we do fill in the blank. And each of us have a different idea of failure, or that idea in our head of the worst thing possible. If I called her, what about this? Those things. So maybe jot that down. If you jot down the question, that's fine, so you can think about it later. If you know the one thing you would do today and knew you wouldn't fail, write it down. It can be one thing, it can be 5 things, it can be 10 things. It doesn't matter. Write down those things. So why do we do this? Why do we build up that idea in our head? So what if I called her and she is super busy and says she doesn't like amazing smelling wax and beautiful warmers? What if she says she doesn't like chocolate? What if I call and she doesn't like the most amazing handbag and clutch she's ever seen in her whole life? What if I ask the lady at the checkout counter and she rolls her eyes at me like I'm crazy? What if someone says they're too busy to listen to me right now? What will they say if I continue to ask? Will they start saying, oh, I'm that crazy girl that only wants to talk about Scentsy or my job? What will they say if I wear my Scentsy clothes everywhere I go? What will they say if I ask everyone I meet? Will they think I'm a pest? Will they think that I'm over the top about my job? Will they think that I'm too driven? Will they think I'm crazy that I don't have another quote-unquote real job? I say, so what? So what if she is too busy? So what if she doesn't love chocolate? So what if they say that I'm crazy about my job? The fear of rejection can overcome you in all that you do. Not only that, but it can take the fear of rejection, the fear of failure can take away your dream quicker than anything. And it's not even real. I can guarantee you that a no never killed anyone. I've never been to a funeral or read an obituary in the newspaper where it said, so-and-so killed by a no yesterday. It doesn't happen. It's an idea in our head. A maybe never hurt anybody. No one was ever in the hospital because someone said, oh, well, maybe, call me in a month or two. No one ever gets hurt by these things. It's an idea. Other people don't care if your dream comes true. They don't think about, oh, well, if I don't help her, she's never going to be able to make her why happen. She's never going to overcome her fear of failure. All they care about is what's going on in their lives. It's all in our head. Everything that we say to ourselves, all the what ifs, all of the what will they say, what will they think, we have to overcome those things if we want to make our dream come true. So we have to realign our focus and take away that fear of rejection. So how do we do that? How do we get over it? First of all, we have to stop with the what ifs. Every time you think about doing something and you say, what if? What if she says this? What if she's too busy? What if they don't want to? What if they think I'm crazy? We have to stop doing this to ourselves. We have to stop making excuses for other people so that we don't have to go out of our comfort zone. We have to stop making excuses for other people so that we don't fail, because that's what we do. We've all been in the line somewhere at a store, grocery store, wherever it may be, post office, and thought on the way up there, oh, I should totally give her a catalog and ask her if she wants to do a party. I should give her a scent sample in my business card. But then what comes next? Oh, well, she's really busy. I gave her one like 6 months ago, and I never heard from her. So we start making these excuses. We start building up reasons not to ask because we're afraid to fail, because we're afraid of that rejection. So we have to stop. We have to get rid of this fear of an idea in our head, and we have to remind ourselves, who cares what they think? Even though you might ask somebody, they may think you're crazy, they may say something rude, they may say something about what you're doing, they may judge you. Who cares what they think? Because I can guarantee you they're not going to think about it for the rest of the day. You might, because a lot of us do that. If we get a no, or if we get somebody that says something a little bit snide to us or rejects us in a way, we may think about that for the rest of the day, and that may bind us the next time we want to do it. We have to stop caring about what they think and continue to move forward. We have to stop taking it personally. Start thinking about your dream and make that the most important thing. Because if you can make your dream and your why more important than a rejection, that's when it will work. That's when you can make your dream and your success come true. Like I said, they don't worry later about what their response was to you. You might take it to heart, but they're not thinking twice about it. So remember that. It's not important. And odds are they may say yes anyways. It doesn't affect your life unless you let it. If you go out of your comfort zone, if you move forward, if you continue to ask people, if you get a rejection, if you fear that failure, it doesn't affect you unless you let it later in the day. If you go through it, somebody says no, and you're like, oh, well, I'm asking another person anyways, that's when you win. When you choose to persevere through failure, through rejection, that's when it works. These things don't come easy. I can say it all here on one slide for 5 minutes and tell you about get over what if, don't make excuses, it's fear of an idea. I can tell you all these things, but it's much easier said than done, and I realize that. I do the very same thing. That's why we have to remind ourselves about these things. Write it down. Have a little Post-it in your pocket, and when you're in line, pull it out and look at it. Okay, I don't care if she says no. It's not personal. I'm not going to give her an excuse before I even ask. Pull that out and remind yourself. In the car before you go in, when you're taking catalogs with you somewhere, remind yourself that it's not personal, it's just business. But if you want to make your business work, you have to continue forward and rethink what you're doing. Every time you're going to ask someone, call someone, talk to someone about your business in order to move it forward, be conscious of your thoughts. Don't make excuses for them before they even have a chance to answer. So I ask, what if whoever shared Scentsy with you, Grace Adele Vallada, whoever shared that with you, what if they made an excuse for you before they even asked? What if they said, oh, she wouldn't be interested? What if they said, oh, she'll never want to have a party? Oh, she probably doesn't like Scentsy. She probably doesn't like chocolate. What if they said that and never gave you the opportunity to be who you are today? Remember those things. So we have to balance our teeter-totter. And I love this quote. It's Bill Cosby. In order to succeed, your desire for success should be greater than your fear of failure. And a lot of times it's the other way around. With most of us, it's the other way around. It's so scary to fail or to be rejected that we don't even push for success. So I ask you this, how large is your desire? How big is your why? How big is your reason, and how badly do you want to be successful? How badly do you want to succeed in this business? Put some thought into that, because it's not a small thing. If this is something that you want to do for yourself, for your family, for your income, for your sanity, you have to make it work. And if you can grow that want and that desire bigger than your fear, that's when you win. So how badly do you want to be a success? Balance your teeter-totter to where the side that's heavier, the side that's stronger, is your want, your longing, your heart, your drive, and your perseverance. So what means more? What they think, what they say, their judgment, or your dream? Because if you can grow your dream bigger, that's when you become a success. That's when your dream means more, and that's when you continue on long enough to make it work for you. People in any business didn't succeed right away. There aren't people that, even in the Cincy family, the first consultants that were the first, say, 20 superstar directors, they didn't get there because they never failed. They didn't get there because no one ever rejected them. They got there because they continued on even through failure, and their dream became bigger than the idea of failure in their head. So I have a small list here, and I thought these were really cool, so I want to share them with you. These are famous people that believed in their dream, and we always think, okay, when we look at this list, we know these people are famous. We know they're a big deal, but how did they get there? We never think about how many times did they fail before their dream came true, before they became who they are, who we know of. So Henry Ford, obviously of Ford Motor Company, failed and went broke 5 times before he built Ford Motor Company and became a success. R.H. Macy, who owns Macy's Department Store, Macy's Day Parade, all of those things, failed in 7 businesses before he opened Macy's. Bill Gates of Microsoft dropped out of Harvard. He was a failure at one of the most prestigious schools in the entire nation. Did it stop him? Absolutely not. Harlan Sanders of Kentucky Fried Chicken. He submitted his secret recipe to 1,009 restaurants and got rejected before one said, yes, we'll try this. Walt Disney, he was fired by a newspaper editor because he, quote unquote, lacked imagination and had no good ideas. What if he had quit? What if he said, you know what? The things that they say about me are stronger than my dream. Einstein. Einstein didn't speak until he was 4, and he didn't read until he was 7. And now we regard him as a genius. Thomas Edison failed 1,000 times before he invented what we know as the light bulb. And Oprah Winfrey, this is one of my favorites. She was fired from her first job and told she was unfit for TV. She is one of the most successful women. She makes more money than I think any other woman in television. And what somebody told her that she was unfit for TV. So remember that. The next time somebody says, oh, you're never going to make this work. You're never going to be able to quit your other job because of Cincy. You're never going to do this. You're never going to do that. You're never going to book enough parties. You're never going to build your team large enough to where you can be successful and make enough money. Remember these people. And remember that if you believe in your dream, your future belongs to you. You get to decide if you persevere. So what do we need to do to make this all work? Take action this week, next week, over the next month. Take action in the things we talked about today. Untie the bind to rejection. Untie the bind from the idea of failure. Quit letting it stop you. Rationalize. Remember that because they say no, it's not personal. It's not against you. And we need to get over it. It doesn't matter what they say. It doesn't matter what they think. If you're moving one day closer to your dream and you're continuing to work towards what you want, that's all that matters. It doesn't matter what they think. It doesn't matter if you're that crazy Cincy lady that never stops. It matters that you believe in yourself, you believe in your dream, and someday you will be successful. Find a balance. Make your dream and your longing to succeed bigger than the what-ifs, bigger than the fear of failure, bigger than the idea of rejection, because those things are small when compared to a dream that consumes you. And believe it's possible. And I've talked a million times about self-belief and the things we think about ourselves that can stop us. You have to believe in yourself and believe in your dream and stop believing other people. I only know one person that's never lied to me, and that's myself. If you can believe in yourself and you have no reason not to, then you know it's possible. Try it out. Try out the things that we talked about today and know that they can work for you. Believe that if you can quit this failure thing and quit this rejection thing, that things will move along a lot quicker for you because you're going to become a whole lot braver. Just want to leave you guys with a quote that's one of my very, very favorites. Perseverance is all that matters. So success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It's the courage to continue that counts. Believe in yourself and have the courage to persevere. Because if you can do that, it doesn't matter in the end how many failures you had. It doesn't matter how many times you were rejected. None of that matters if you have that courage to continue to move